welcome here. If you're new here, my name's Bethany. I'm the girl behind Well-Loved Knits. I had to include that this time because last video, I got a couple of comments, one or two, saying that the video felt off because I didn't have my normal intro in. So there you go, I added it in there for you. I wanted to do something a little low-key this week and just do a normal podcast, like a regular sit down and chat about the things that have been on and off my needles lately. I haven't done one of those in a while, and I thought I needed to give some updates because we're still doing the Well-Loved Woolyknits knit along, and I want to show you some progress on my whip for that knit along. Molly has decided to come sit right next to me because I got some really woolly wool fibers next to me, and she loves the smell of lanolin. She'll just sit there and just rub her face all over my whips and my cones. So she's very close by. Yeah, I have a lot to show actually, and I'm excited to get into it. So without further ado, let's kick off this video. So I should talk about what I'm wearing. It's the Vivian cardigan. It's a cardigan that I've had in my wardrobe so much. Every time I wear it, I get comments asking what it is. It's a Wool in the Gang kit that I followed a couple of years ago, and it's my most imperfect piece that I still wear in my handmade wardrobe. I've shown it before. In the back, there's some really wonky stitches, some holes even, and also the way that this piece is knit up, it's 2 panels and then it's crocheted together, and I am so bad, or I was so bad at crochet. I still am, but I think I would do a better job now. Just the way that it's all worked up together, it looks horrendous. So I think I'm going to be retiring this cardigan very soon. It is just kind of worn out and it doesn't really look its best. So I'm not really grabbing for it when I want to go out. It's really just a at-home cardigan, and that's fine too, but I really would love to work up something a little bit more polished and something that I can really grab for everyday wear. I'm using like a little belt, a little belt to kind of cinch it all in and do like this little wrap situation. Otherwise it's kind of just like it's a boxy fit, very slouchy, and I really like it. It's knit with its garter stitch throughout, and I think it looks simple but very classic. It looks really good. I also have a little gift that's an early birthday gift from my husband. It's a little pendant with the birth flower of Arthur, which I thought was super cute, and I had to wear it because it's my birthday this month. So I got it a little bit early, and I wanted to wear it today. So shout out to him. Good job. I will say that I've got a baby over here playing, and my husband's here as well. So if there's background noise, it is what it is. It's my daily life. So welcome here. Thanks for hanging out with me. So I have some finished objects that I want to share. One of which is, actually I did share it. So I did a knit and chat in my last video, and I was working on a project that was spur of the moment, I just needed to get it on the needles, and it quickly just flew right off the needles. I just finished it. It's still damp. I blocked it last night. This is the Melange sweater by Petite Knit. It just came out. I feel like this pattern was just released, and I saw it and I was just like, Arthur would look so cute in it. That in combination with the fact that I hadn't knit him anything in a while, I was really due for a baby knit in my life, and I'm really happy that I cast this one on. And it worked up so fast. I barely had time to really even document the process of working on this knit. And like the different phases of it. You saw it obviously in my last knit and chat video, and there I was just working on the ribbing, and quickly after got the sleeves done. I will admit that I recorded that a couple of weeks ago, so it wasn't as fast as maybe it seems. I was definitely slow going on it because I also started working on something else. This turned out to be a deviation knit, like when you're working on a project and you just stall on that project a little bit. Like, it was my Farnham sweater. I was working on my Farnham sweater. It was a monogamous knit for me, but then I was getting striped out. So then I wanted to cast on something new. And that's when I decided to cast this on, because I was like, it's a baby knit. It's going to be fast. I will get it on and off, or, it'll just be a nice small project that I can work on that will have a lot of progress, that will satisfy my craving for something new, but won't take away my attention for too long. And it popped right off the needles. But then I got another deviation. So like I deviated from this one as well, but we'll get into it. Anyway, this is done. And I really love the color combination. I think it looks really, really sweet for spring. The size is the 12 to 18 months size, and he's gonna be swimming in it. But babies are really cute in oversized knitwear, oversized clothes anyway, so I'm not really worried about that. And I'm happy that I knit the larger size just because it will last him a lot longer, because babies just grow like weeds. I want to make sure what I'm knitting him will get somewhere. So I can really see this working well for autumn. So when he turns a year old, around his birthday in September, he will be able to be wearing this sweater, and I think it will do him very well all autumn and hopefully winter long later this year. But I don't want to think about that. This is knit up with Woolyknit cones. I didn't bring the other one that I should have. So when I was first talking about this sweater, I forgot to tell you what the merino colors I was using. This is Boss Green. This is a really nice, just foresty green color. It's in the merino, and then I'm also using the cream cone that I have that I'm using for my Farnham sweater. So you can really see that the cone goes a long way. And I barely made a dent in this. This is actually one of the cones that was kind of scraps, so to speak. This does not look like scraps at all. This looks like a lot of yarn. I wouldn't call it scraps, but from the Woolyknit warehouse, they sent over some cones that, partial cones, not full 500 grams, but something smaller, whatever they had left over, in a couple of colorways, and this is one of them. And I'm really glad they surprised me with this, because I thought it was very cute for Arthur's wardrobe. And I have so much more left over. Barely made a dent in this. I'll have plenty to use for another project, most likely for Arthur. I really liked this color. Maybe, well, it wouldn't be enough for my husband, but he would look nice in this green as well. And then this is the cream that I'm using for my Farnham sweater, and then I used it as well for this tiny little sweater too. I think I'll have a lot left over after both of the projects that I'll be able to use for probably, I have no idea. I need to weigh these and see. This was a 500 gram cone when I originally got it, and I think maybe I've used half. For reference, this is what a 500 gram cone looks like. So not even half. So the fiber really goes a long way, and I'm very happy with it. I just knit it with the merino, didn't add anything else, and yeah, I'm very pleased. It's damp, but it's softened up quite a bit. It still has that lanolin smell. I don't know if I'm gonna wanna wash that out, but I think it's safe for babies. There's lanolin cream and things for other baby-related stuff, so we should be fine. Finished object number 1. This was a lot of fun to knit. I really like this sweater just because it is just a basic sweater pattern. If you already have a basic sweater pattern for whatever you want to do, whether it's a baby or for yourself, you probably don't need to buy this pattern. You can just knit the technique with 2 strands held together, and you'll get the same effect. I really don't think, as much as I love everything that Petite Knit puts out, I don't really think that there's really anything all that special about it. The shape is just really nice. The technique is nice. So if you already have a basic sweater, you could already knit the Melange sweater, is basically what I'm trying to say. But if you want to support her. I think I could definitely use the pattern for many other types of sweaters for Arthur in the future. Get creative with the different motifs and things that I use. The color combinations, yes, but then also I could do other patterns and things if I wanted to get a little crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna put this to the side and let it dry off a little bit more because it is definitely damp. Okay, so that was a little segue or a little detour from my Farnham sweater. But while I was knitting the Melange sweater, even though it is such a tiny and quick knit, I still wanted to cast on something different. I wanted to have another detour from that project. And I just made some socks. These are my kind of own recipe, my little rendition of the Bearpaw socks, but combining that with the everyday socks. So it's more of a DK weight sock, but I use the everyday sock pattern. 2 sizes down and sized up needles to be able to knit with 1 strand of mohair and 1 strand of fingering weight sock yarn. And so it's not quite as thick as the Bearpaw socks because that's 2 fingering weight together. But yeah, I just add 1 strand of mohair and I don't go up all the way. So I think that this Bearpaw socks needle size is a size 4. I knit these using a size 3. This is the second time that I've knit a pair of socks like this. Let me show you a little up close. Bless you, sir. This is not the first time that I've knit a pair of socks like this. I'm actually wearing them. And I think they're not too nasty. I made this pair a couple months ago. It's with Zauberball and 1 strand of mohair. And I have that here. It's this one. This is held together with 1 strand of more of a reddish tone, which made the socks look really, really pink. And I kind of love that. I love mixing with mohair and kind of changing up the colors. That seems to be a trend also in knitting podcasts these days. I've seen a lot of other knitters do that. And I really love these socks.
He does too.
He does too. Yeah. So those socks, I really like them. They're very cozy, so fluffy. Mohair socks are perfect, or socks knit with mohair, 1 strand of mohair and 1 strand of something else, are really, really great. And I really love these because I can actually throw them in the washing machine and the dryer and not even care. I guess it's because this is Superwash, this Zauberball. And the mohair doesn't really seem to mind. It just makes them fluffier, even. So I had some mohair that I wanted to use with this blue. I thought it was gonna be a lot different than how it turned out, but I still really like these. So did I talk about this at some point? I did, yes. When I first kicked off the Well-Loved Woolyknits KAL, I mentioned that I had purchased originally for my Farnham sweater some mohair, and this is Issayer mohair in just a black color. I returned all of the skeins that I had originally purchased for that project and just kept 1 because I opened it and I couldn't return it. I ultimately decided not to use that in my Farnham sweater project just because it really seemed to shed a lot. And mohair does shed, but the Issayer mohair shed a lot compared to the Drops mohair that I've used, Knitting for Olive mohair that I've used. What's the other brand? Philcolana's mohair. Some from Veritas. I've used a lot of different mohairs. I haven't used all of them, obviously, but I've just never seen mohair shed so much. And I just didn't really want to risk it for a sweater that I was going to wear and also hold my baby while wearing. I mean, I can't really avoid that. So I just decided to omit mohair altogether, and I had that 1 leftover skein, and it was perfect for socks. So I enjoyed the pink ones so much that I thought I would knit this other Zauberball that I have, which is just this really pretty bluey, all kinds of different blue tones. I really love this one. And I decided to pair it together with the black. It turned out to be like this very moody sock. So for somebody who really is talking about color being so inspiring for spring for them, it's funny that I made a moody pair of socks, but I like them. I think they look really good. I love how the color is popping through with the black. It's a lot of fun to see how the mohair changes the color of the yarn that you're working with. I always really love that. So these were just a really quick pair of socks because they were knit up with 3mm needles. I just really love this pattern a lot. I love the Bearpaw sock pattern. I love the everyday sock pattern, but I particularly love like this weird combination that I've come up with, sizing up the needles and sizing down the pattern instructions to knit my perfect socks. Yeah. It's really nice. I really love the heel. So this is a Flegel heel. And normally I'm knitting a German short row heel with the Petite Knit Everyday Sock pattern. So not the Everyday Socks by DRK, Drea, Renee Knits, but Petite Knit. I usually knit those socks for my chosen pair. I really love those. But I've really discovered a love for the Flegel heel and the DRK Everyday Socks and the Bearpaw socks. So much that I think this fits me so much nicer, and I actually enjoy knitting it a little bit more. So I think it's my go-to heel now, and I really love it. And I love how these are like sisters and not twins. They have a similar vibe to them, but the colors are they're different. They're just a little different. I think one is longer than the other, just slightly, but that's not going to bother me too much. So another finished object. So 2, that's what I had to show you finished object wise. Now let's go into our whips. So I've talked about it a little bit already. It's my Farnham sweater. That's really the only other whip that I've got. No, I got another one, but that's my main whip that I need to get back to. It's been on hold for a week or so, and I need to pick it back up again. I stopped knitting on it because I was striped out, like I mentioned. I love knitting stripes. I think it's a lot of fun, but something about black and white, it's a big sweater. I decided to knit the oversized fit for me, so size D, which I think is also oversized for Sophie, who is the designer of this sweater, of the Knit Purl Girl. And the Farnham sweater, if you have not caught up with us since I first mentioned it, it's just a rolled neck sweater, a little bit of a higher neck line, like a little bit of a turtleneck. And then it's got a little bit of an oversized fit and some nice sleeve. I mean, it's a sweater, so of course it has sleeves. I just really love the striped detail. I love how she designed the striping with some German short rows. Yeah, this just, honestly, when I saw it, looked like the perfect sweater for me. I just really wanted it in my wardrobe, and I decided to knit it for the Well-Loved Woolyknits KAL, which is a KAL that I'm running until May 3rd. It was in partnership with Woolyknit, who also kindly sponsored the fiber and some of the other yarn that I've already mentioned. So yeah, the KAL is still running. So it is a knit along it started in March, so on March 3rd, and then it's going until May 3rd. And there's only 2 rules. The first rule is that you need to cast on something that you know as a finished object will be a well-loved item in your closet. And what does that really mean? It just means that you're going to grab for it a lot. You're going to get a lot of wear out of it. It's not going to be something that's going to be hidden in the darkest corner of your closet. You're going to want to pull it out and wear it a lot. So that's what this sweater was for me. So it was the perfect whip for this KAL. And I was speeding through it at the very beginning. I just could not put it down, and I got so much progress on it. It was insane, actually. And then, of course, you know, I think because it was such a monogamous knit and I was knitting on it in all of my free knitting time, I just needed a little bit of a change. And that's why it went on pause. It's nothing to do with the pattern. It's nothing to do with the yarn. It's really just the fact that I was going full steam on it and I just wanted a little bit of something new. The pattern is fantastic. It's got a lot of information in there, everything that you could possibly need. And I think it's really well thought out. And it's been a joy to knit so far. So as I mentioned, I didn't really want to use mohair with this piece, and so I decided that I was going to hold the yarn held together, which gives me a little bit of a different gauge to what is listed in the pattern. So I've had to adjust a lot. But first, let me tell you a little bit about the yarn. So this is Carbon Black, a Woolyknit Merino cone, and this is cream, and together I'm using them, I'm holding the yarns together, held double, so 2 strands of the black and 2 strands of the cream, to create the fabric, the striped motif. I'm liking it, it's really nice. Similarly to the Melange sweater, the fabric is nice and softens up a little bit after blocking, and I did actually block this because since I am knitting and a gauge that's pretty different from what's listed in the pattern, I needed to check to see how my modifications are going. Specifically, I mean, everything is fine. I knit to pattern for the increases, the body, everything was as described in the pattern. But when it came to picking up for the collar and then also the sleeve, the amount of stitches that I could pick up were very drastically different from what's listed in the pattern, and that's just because of the yarn that I decided to use. So I picked up a lot less, basically, and I wanted to make sure that that would still fit over my head because I didn't want, you know, like a drastically large sleeve. I picked up at a rate of 5 out of every 7 stitches, which seems to work out well for me whenever I'm trying to pick up for sleeves. And I don't know the rate that I did for the collar, but it was just the number of stitches that I ended up having, it was a lot less. So something to keep in mind if you want to also use Woolyknit held double, that you'll have to do a little bit of, you have to be a little creative when it comes to your sleeves and collar situation. But I can confirm that it does fit over my head, which is the main thing that I was worried about. The sleeve, I will probably have to unpick and knit a little bit longer. I think maybe one more white stripe and then going into the cuff. I decided to do something different because the neckline has a rolled hem. I kind of wanted to match that for my sleeves at least. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do that for the body, but the sleeves, that would be really nice. I thought it would be a nice way to match it and just have a little bit of a rolled cuff. So I knit with a much tighter gauge, so I went down as far as I could go needle size wise. I want to say that was 2.5. And I think I even only knit in 1 strand of the Woolyknit for the cuff, and it made a nice little rolled hem. I'm not sure if I absolutely love it. I might rip that back and see once I finish the other sleeve, because I want to get a feel for how both of the sleeves are before I decide to lengthen this one. Because I think, you know, I'm just more of a visual person, and I think I just would like to wear it and see how that feels. So I'm gonna get started on the second sleeve very soon. I think that's where I'm gonna go because there's a lot to do with the body. The body is obviously a much larger circumference, so I think I'll speed through the sleeve and then figure out what I want to do for the body. Do I want to do the rolled hem at the bottom? I think that will bother me a little bit. So I think I will do the twisted rib for the body. But we're not there yet, so I can make those decisions later. But I'm just really loving this pattern. This is where I'm at with my Well-Loved Woolyknit. I think I will be able to finish it on May 3rd with everybody else. And I hope you guys join the KAL. There's still time to join. You can knit something a little bit smaller. Really, anything goes with this knit along. I know it was very open-ended, but that's just because I wanted as many people as possible to join. And I hope there's incentive for you to do so. I hope you have something that you've been wanting to knit up for your closet, and this gives you a really good excuse to make that a priority. If you do decide to join the KAL, use the hashtag Well-Loved-Woolyknits over on Instagram. Tag myself, Well-Loved-Knits, and Woolyknit. And if you do so, by on or before May 3rd, you could win 75 pounds of British wool. So Woolyknit will send you that prize. once I announce the winner after May 3rd. So my plan is to announce it over on Instagram. I think I might also be able to get my act together and announce it here too. But you have to participate over on Instagram to be eligible to win. Yeah. So I think that's everything that I wanted to say about my Well-Loved Woolyknit project. Arthur has one now, so technically I guess I did complete the KAL, because anything really goes as long as it's going to be a well-loved item. So I made one for Arthur. I just need to finish the one for me, and then we can take some pictures in it. I think that would be really cute. While I'm talking about Well-Loved Woolyknits, I do need to just give you an update on the other project that I was potentially going to be working up and finishing, but I have decided that I will not. It is the Colette jacket by Witcher Design. So it's just been sitting in my Mood Living bag. I have not gotten anywhere on it, and I made the decision just a couple of days ago to just rip out the cord from this project. So it's I've made decisions here. And so we're saying goodbye to that project. I just decided that, you know what? I don't know if it was just a fad for me. Maybe I still think I would love to have something yellow. I just don't know if it's that jacket. And I don't know. I kind of lost the excitement around the project just because I wanted, other things catch my eye, and I think at the end I just discovered that maybe I didn't want it as badly as I thought I did, which is kind of nice that I didn't go through the heartache of knitting up the entire piece and then realizing that maybe it wasn't for me. I don't know though. I'm not going to say that that's true. I think I could still benefit from something yellow, but I have more time to think about what that is exactly. So just wanted to give you an update there and let you know that I have decided that I'm not going to be knitting on that anymore. So really, that's the main things that I've been working on lately. I did just cast on last night after finishing my pair of socks. I did decide to cast on another pair. I'm following more of the everyday sock pattern by Petite Knit, not the DRK everyday sock pattern. But I did decide to go toe up this time and see how that would work. So basically, I'm combining the two everyday sock patterns into something and just seeing how it's going to go. So normally with the Petite Knit pattern, it's knit cuff down, and the DRK everyday sock is knit toe up. So I'm using the stitch count that I really like for the Petite Knit everyday sock pattern, my usual stitch count, but this time I decided to cast on from the toe. And then I think I'm going to add in a fleagle heel. So I just got a toe working right now. Very quick, very easy. Everything that I could get done last night. And I'm knitting on some fiber that I've had in my stash for a little while, and I've wanted to cast it on because I have a pair of store-bought socks that are knit in like a tweed. And I wear them all the time. I love the look of them. They are so nice. They're one of my favorite pairs to put on. So every time they're just out of the wash, they immediately go on my feet. And I wanted something that was hand knit like that. And it's really because of the tweed. I just love the way that the tweed fabric looks. It's casual, but cute, a little bit of pop color. And so I, a while ago, found some Regia tweed yarn that I got in stash. And I thought it was time to knit that up. So I'm going to be knitting a fun little pair of socks for me that will replace, hopefully, the love that I have for those store-bought socks. Or at least I'll have one that I love just as much, but it's actually handmade, so therefore I will love it just a little bit more. So yeah, just something simple, nothing too crazy there, but I'll give you a close-up of the yarn. Either you love or you hate tweed yarn, I think. And I really love tweed yarn. I just love the little nips in it. It's just a little bit of surprise. What else is on the horizon? So I've talked about how I've wanted to knit on a colorwork sweater. I haven't really had any time to think about that, but I did pull out some yarn that I want to use very soon. And that's just because this has been in stash for a really, really long time. This is it's time for it to get out of stash too. So this is Big Little Yarn Co.'s hand-dyed yarn. Mel from Big Little Yarn Co. If you don't already know, this is a DK weight superwash base that she has. And I got this, yeah, a couple of years ago. And I think it would look so cute on little Arthur. Originally, I wanted it for myself because baby was not in the picture at the time, but I just think that it's so much more suited to him. And actually, I've knit a couple of things in this color for his closet, so I think it'll fit right in. It's really funny how much I gravitate towards this color specifically for him, and all the things that I buy for him and all the things that I've made for him. I've made that Ingrid sweater baby in this color. I made the Sunday suit in this color. I feel like there was something else too. So, and then there are just other things that he has in his store-bought wardrobe that will go really well with this colorway in particular. So I'm very excited to cast it on, and it's a long time coming. I feel like this has been languishing in my stash for way too long, and it's time. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to knit for him. I was thinking a Moby sweater vest. I was thinking an anchor sweater, all petite knit things. But then I also could just freestyle a cardigan or something like that. I don't know, the possibilities are endless. What would you knit? What is a baby pattern that you think would look really cute with this yarn right here? I'm really open to suggestions, I think. I would love to knit some other things beside petite knit, so if you have other designers who make really cute baby knits clothes, definitely leave them down below and let me know, because I could really benefit from discovering someone new. Another color that I just really love, this is another Woolyknit cone. I have a lot of them in my stash now because they sent over quite a bit of yarn for the knit along, and this is one of them. This is kind of a mix between the yellow and green that has been inspiring me a little bit for spring. I really love this color. It's one of those half cones scraps that they gave over to me, and I didn't know if I would be able to knit something up for myself or if maybe Arthur could benefit from it. But then again, I mean, it's about the same as this cone right here, and I barely used any of this for him. So I'm thinking I could get something out for me, maybe a Corran cardigan. I was watching the Creabea, her latest upload, and she had so many different colorful versions of her latest design, the Corran cardigan. And I think maybe that could be pretty fun to do some lace in a really bright color, really go all out. That could be a lot of fun for me. That's just the first thing that kind of came to mind. I'm really trying to figure out what would work really nicely with this color. It's a pea green, a puke green. I don't know. There's something about it though that I feel like I've seen it a lot, just in different forms, and I would really like to work with it. I think it would be fun to put it on the needles. This is again some merino, and it's called, is it Citron? Oh, it might be Citron. Yeah, it's just a really cool mix between a bright highlighter yellow and a little bit of green mixed in there as well. So this could be a cool one to knit with. Or I could do a Corran cardigan in this. I have plenty of yarn for it. A long sleeve version? I don't know. Something to think about. But I still need to mull over what my color work project would be. I think I'm going to be doing some swatches for that next. Like as I'm working on my Farnham sweater, if I want to deviate again, I will start making swatches instead of full-on projects. And then I'll also have that sock on the needles too, in case I want to switch between those two. Yeah, that's it from me. That's everything that I wanted to share with you. That's all I can knit on with a 6-month-old. But I think that is quite a lot, and I'm very proud that I had some finished objects to share, no matter how small. And the progress that I have on my Well-Loved Woolyknit is going really well, so I think I will be able to make it for that deadline, which is really good. But I need to stop deviating, and I need to get on it And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. That is gonna be my main priority for the next couple of knitting sessions that I have. So thank you guys for being here. If you liked this video, definitely give it a like and maybe subscribe if you want to stick around. I want to go have some fun with the men in my life, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.